Diaz Gunners Collective. Back at it, you already know, like a motherfucking smack addict, right? And as you can tell by today's thumbnail, yes, indeedy, Deathrow. It's closing down, man. San Quentin. That's the word on the curb. And in Menudo's not in direct fashion, I'm going to give it straight to you and tell you right now, from the gate, Deathrow will cease to exist in the state of California. Yes, indeed. And it's a good thing. It's a positive thing if you look at it, right? The reason I have Mr. Galvin on the cover of the thumbnail, yes, the Deathrow dog himself, Mr. Fresno Bulldog, Phantom, big notorious Phantom, is because this is going to affect and impact his life. You know, I've had the privilege of having conversations with Phantom. I did an interview. If you haven't tripped out on it, refer to my channel. Go down and you'll see him. He's right there. So it's okay. He was speaking some real shit, real spit from a real individual. Okay? And I have a history with Fresno Bulldogs, man. So there's a lot of love there. There's a lot of love, a lot of hate, but at the same time, a whole lot of respect. And I'm going to continue in that fashion. But what I will say is this. It's going to affect his life, and it's going to affect many others that are on death row in San Quentin. You see, what administration has decided to do, Mr. Newsom, the governor of California, has decided to shut it down, to implement programs to filter these gentlemen out to main lines. Yes, Mr. Robert Galvin, yes, Mr. Phantom will be hitting a main line coming to a theater near you. Bang, bang, right? And a lot of these individuals are known as notorious. You know, notorious for different things that they've done. Some of them justifiably so, and some of them are just put on death row because they got caught up in the wrong situation at the wrong time. And, you know, they did a crime and they felt that capital punishment was necessary for the course of action, you know, due to the ramifications of what that crime was. But so I was getting that face, I can't get it all fucking crazy ramifications, big word of the day, ramifications, right? Well, the ramifications for the main line is this. These guys from death row over a 2-year period will be released back. You know, back into these main lines. Now they're going to be spread out into several other main lines, and this has already started. They took several people from San Bernardino County. Why they started with that county, I can't be absolutely for sure or certain, but I know they started out with 16 individuals that they've already released to Tehachapi, to Donovan, several other prisons throughout the state of California. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to reacclimate these guys back into mainline living. Now, of course, these guys are doing life without the possibility of parole, being condemned men and on death row, man. They don't have no action at getting out. Hopefully, some of them can hit those appeals and maybe they can make it a good day. You know, today was a good day. Ooh, ah, ooh, but you just never know, right? But it'd be like that sometimes. But trip out anyways, what I wanted to talk about was guys like Phantom that are going to be reacclimated into mainline living. You know, it's a good thing. It's a positive thing because some of these individuals need to be around different people. They need to reassociate themselves with a small society. Yes, maybe not a large society at whole, but it's good for them and it's good for the people around them. It's good for their families to know that their loved ones are actually able to wiggle a little bit. So that's okay, the wiggle's going to be real. Okay, now some of the people are, you know, people out here in the public, they're scared. No, they're dangerous. They're dangerous individuals. They were on death row. They're going to go there and they're just going to murder people and cause mayhem. You know, they're not any different than any other inmates in the state of California that are already on these líneas functioning. Okay, you do what you do every morning. Every morning, Sasuke, you wake up, you roll that mattress, and you do your daily program, man. Whatever entails into that program that particular day, Sasuke, hey, what a difference a day makes. Yes, the wind is blowing. It could get busy. Or it can't. You know, or it could be just another dull day in prison. You know, nobody wants to be there. It's not lovely for nobody, but at the same time, it's what happens. Okay? But with what they're trying to administer and what they're trying to do is get these guys reacclimated and basically make them work. You know, in prison, everybody gets a holiday. Everybody gets a job, you know? When you get that job, these prison industries, prison PSI, prison state industry jobs, you know, making license plates, whatever you got to do, working in these factories or even working on the grounds crew or the kitchen, you get paid from the state. Now, it's pennies on the dollar. Of course, it's not a lot of money. It's slave wage, but it's money. Right? And they want to set up some victims fund where these guys can actually pay back restitution to these victims' families. You know, court fees, things of that nature. They feel that they're just wasting time and wasting taxpayers' money sitting right there on death row, rotting away. Now, you think of a man's existence on death row. Bang, bang. Never been there, not trying to go there, don't want to see that, right? But anyone that's ever been to death row that will tell you that's sat there and was able to overturn their sentence and maybe catch the LWOP instead or life, have told stories about it. And basically, it's a dull existence. Imagine every day waiting for the state to kill you. Okay, that's not a great thing. You know, that's a monkey on your shoulder. There's a bluebird on my shoulder. Can I kill it? You know, there's definitely a bluebird on your shoulder that you want to kill every day because they're trying to take you out of this world. Yes, some of these guys justifiably, yes, they took people an eye for an eye and a tooth. That's like mine right here, for a tooth, right? They're trying to take that tooth. But at the same time, man, these are human beings. These are still living and breathing men and women sitting there on death row, and that's a sad existence. So at least at one point, this is going to give them the actual freedom to walk around out there, reacclimate themselves into some type of society, some type of normalization. You know, of course, prison is not normal for the average everyday motherfucking child. It's not normal. It's a whole different animal. It's a whole different bestia. It's a whole different world. But at the same time, what you need to understand is anything other than sitting on death row waiting to be executed is better than nothing. So it's gay. There's only half a fucking cup of fucking Hawaiian punch in here. So it's gay. Hey, that's half better than you had. That's gay. Better than nada, right? Straight up. See the cup half full, not half empty. Don't be a pessimist. Don't be a skeptic. Don't be skeptical of this shit. This is real. And this is happening. You know, there's a lot of changes in the California Department of Corrections that have been happening lately. You know, they're reacclimating, integrating SNY yards with general population yards. Yes, this is a fact. This is happening. You know, state of California is tired. The taxpayers are tired of their money going into these programs and them not being utilized, man. They're pretty much saying, Sasuke, if you're locked up in the state of California, fuck it, es la primera. You're going to go onto these yardas. You're going to learn how to live together and function. You know, let your politics be your politics, and that's your guys' thing. That's your guys' business. However it pans out, whatever happens, Sasuke, I guess they're going to be doing a lot of paperwork then, huh? Bang, bang, overtime. But with putting these guys from death row out there, I understand that it might cause some friction. You know, some of these guys are trophies. Some of these guys are considered trophies. You know, of course, we know Scott Peterson just got his shit overturned and he's walking around on some linea right now. And a lot of these guys have funny bunny cases. Yes, they have funny style cases that are not deemed proper in prison. You know, and let's break that down. Cases that are not deemed proper in prison that anything have to do with weird shit, right? Weird shit or touching women or kids and things of that nature, right? You just don't do that in prison. It's not justified. It's not a good look. Southscape motherfuckers ain't having that. You ain't walking the linea pretty much. You're going to get hit. You're going to get dusted and disgusted. Bitch, you can't be trusted. You know the rules. What are you, 40? This is how it's going to be. But a lot of these guys do have cases like that where they got capital punishment and they're going to be reacclimated. And of course, they're not going to hit general population yards. A lot of them guys are going to hit SNY yards. Or I'm not sure if they still have the PHU protective housing units they did at Old Corcoran at one point in time. These are the type of facilities they're going to put them in, you know, for their safety and security and also for the safety and security of everyone around them. Because these guys are going to know Sasuke's fight or flight syndrome. They're going to be backed into a corner. They're going to have to handle their motherfucking business, you know, or people are going to handle business on them. That's just the way life goes. That's the way love goes. Right? This is just it. But at the same time, for those few that are on death row, that are righteous individuals, you know, in the eyes of politics, and that are just in there for a typical murder, or, you know, they got caught up, maybe they shot a black guy, you know, shout out to Tal Rivera from Merced, Bullet from Merced, you know, he's going to be hitting these líneas, general population, Merced against the Crips, stand up, represent. These individuals, man, need that little taste, of working. They need something different. Right? And it works out good for everyone. It works out for the taxpayers because, believe me, guys sitting there on death row just soaking the money, man, it's a burden on my pocket. It's a burden on your pocket. It's a burden on everyone's pockets. Okay? And that's the way the state looks at it. They don't really care about these individuals getting reformed, or they're not worried about these individuals having a good day or a bad day. They can give a fuck less. These guys did a crime and they're going to do their time. Okay, but the punishment is doing the time. You're not getting punished for doing time. Okay, that's the punishment here. See, that's where people always get it misconstrued and mixed up. They seem to think that, and there's a lot of correctional officers that do this. Not all, there's some cool ones, but there's most that do this. And I say most because it's the majority. They want to punish you because you're in prison. You're a criminal, you're a gang member, you're a burden to society. Not always, that ain't always the case. Some of these guys are innocent. A lot of these individuals just got caught up in a bad situation. They come from a broken home. They didn't get a fair shake in life or a fair chance, man. Or they did and they didn't know what to do with it. You know, everyone's due that due process. Everyone's due that second chance. So second chances could change the world. I had one, or two or three. But I just think it's going to be a trip to see how administration does this. You know, of course, Notoriously, San Quentin has housed death row for forever. That's where death row has been housed. You know, for them to shut that down, historically, it's showing you, man, that things are changing. The world is changing. You know, they've shut down a lot of prisons lately. Tracy Prison is now defunct. It's gone. It's done. It's still standing. It's just a shell. There's no longer inmates there. They shipped the last ones out. Period. No more convicts. Get Tracy, DVI, Gladiator School, and all the historia behind it is no longer. You know, it's in history books. It's in people's mentis. It's in their mentality. It's in the way they rock. I did time there. Been there a lot of times. So I'll never forget K-Wing, J-Wing, H-Wing, E, you know, West Hall, East Hall, things of that nature. You know, people that have been there, they know how that rocks. But they shut it down, man, due to, you know, it was crumbling. The water was not good. Anyone that's been there knows about the brown water. There was just a lot of situations there and a lot of things that wasn't worth keeping it functioning, you know, so they shipped everyone out. Of course, word on the curb is Susanville is about to close too, eventually. You know, I also did time in Susanville, Lassen Yard, 3 Yard. And I could tell you right now, Susanville, it looked like your typical prison, just any other prison. But maybe for some reason or another, the taxpayers don't have enough money to keep funding these prisons. There's a lot of people getting incarcerated. It seems like everyone's getting struck out. Everyone's getting caught up. You know, motherfuckers ain't playing. People aren't just going in there and getting 2 or 3 years. People are getting 2 or 3 life sentences nowadays. This is just the way it is. The Bangladesh is real. So let's get the tight pants, got the fucking constriction to the brain, fucked up, and vatos are banging. They banging. That's just the way it is. Do I disrespect him? Do I hate on him? Charlie, man. At the same time, it is what it is, man. I feel for him. I feel for you. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I hope your family, at the end of the day, is there for you. You know, because it's a hard existence by yourself. But back to guys like Mr. Galvin Phantom. You know, hopefully I'm able to reach out and contact him pretty soon and get his perspective on it and maybe bring it to the platform again, bring him to the platform so he can speak on his thinking behind it. I'm sure he's happy. He's finally going to get to be around his perros, his dogs, his loved ones, and maybe get some visitas, some contact visits, and get a chance, like I said, to reacclimate himself into some type of positive momentum, some type of motion. It's always good when you're in motion. You're out there hustling, moving fast for a purpose. Okay, now this guy gets a rap. He gets a bad rap because, of course, man, we all know his case. He kidnapped 2 people, took them, cut a couple people's throats, you know, then he hit a fucking black guy, hit a celly. I mean, he's done a lot of things in his life. Does that mean he's the most notorious and worst guy in the world? No. Okay, his reputation precedes itself. His reputation is well known in CDC, and everybody knows who's coming to the main line. But at the same time, man, he gets a fair shake just like anyone else. He's no different than I am. Only difference is he's from Fresno and I'm from Merced. Bang, bang. Steal the 209. Back in the days it was. For those of you that bang, cinco on the weather. Right? Dusolina. F-14 Bulldogs, man. And I give him the respect. You know, and he's just one of many. You know, he's just one of many that's going to actually get out of death row. You know, this just came across my feed and I just found out about this and I was flabbergasted. So I was getting Charlie Holmes. They ain't going to shut down death row. But they actually are. They're actually implementing it. And little did I know that they already are reinstituting people into different places. And I think it's a great thing. I think it's a great thing for prison reform. I think it's a great thing for humanity. I myself am against the death penalty. I don't believe in it. To each their own. Everyone has their own justification. You know, like I said, an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. When it's your family member that gets taken, then I understand you feeling some type of way. But Sasuke, at the end of the day, man, the existence of prison is not a good one. It's not a good look. It's not great. So it seems like more suffering will happen living that day-to-day dull life rather than sitting there and just waiting for them to kill you. Now, of course, you know, in California, man, they don't really do it. I think the last person notoriously that was executed was one Tookie Williams. And that was well known, you know, just based on he was one of the founders of the Crips. He wrote several children's books, several autobiography books, and everybody knew who Tookie was. So if you don't know Tookie, then you're a rookie, Holmes. You know what I mean? Stick to Chips Ahoy cookies. Bang, bang. Get a chip. That's what it is. But at the same time, there's a lot of people that are sitting on death row that are known. You know, you had people like the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez, that sat on death row forever. You know, Mr. Akala, you know, who sat on death row. You had the one who, what's his name, Richard Allen Davis. Of course, you know, you had Scott Peterson. You know, just a lot of different individuals. And the list can go on and on and on and on. You know, there's people that get caught up in gang-related murders that are sitting on death row that are loving the fact that they're going to be reacclimated with their loved ones and their gente on the yarda. Not because they want to get into the politics and get into the gang lifestyle. Charlie, man, just that fresh air. People that have never been incarcerated don't understand what it is to get that breath of fresh air and to be around some people of like-mindedness and some people that you can educate yourself. There's a lot of things that are going on when it comes to human contact. You know, it doesn't always have to be double up, I mean, that's great too, but it doesn't have to be that in there. You know, just a mere handshake. What's up, carnal? You know what I mean? I send my respects. That right there goes a long way from people for several years and decades that have never had that contact, you know, for one reason or another. And they're no different, like I said, from me or you. Yeah, they might have a body or two, but who doesn't nowadays? Just saying though, you know. At the same time, in the meantime, in between time, I just think that all the way around, it's a positive movement. It's a positive step in the right direction. You know, to think that California is finally doing this. You know, California is notorious for going hard on inmates, going hard on criminals. That's just the way it's always been. That's just the way it is. There's a lot of gang activity. There's a lot of political things that go into it. There's a lot of movement going on in the state of California. So it's, hey, you know what I mean? The West Coast, the best coast, you can't fuck with it. You think, bang, bang, you know, ring, ding, dong. We're keeping heads ringing around this motherfucker. That's just how it is. Okay? But when this came across my feed and I seen that people were going to get out of San Quentin necessarily and go to main lines, well, sabes que, bang, bang, finally, sabes que, that's a win in my book. That's a win in my book because, yeah, there are individuals that deserve to be on death row. Yes, like I said, the weirdos, I believe that they deserve to. Right away, I deserve that they don't even need to be on death row. They need to be gone. But sabes que, that's just me, one voice in the wind saying that. You know, there's a lot of people that think differently because that's their familia. That's understandable. But I don't give a fuck. They're never going to change my views on that. But guys like Phantom, guys like Bullet from Merced, you know, guys that are sitting there from different counties, different cities that are actually righteous individuals, good dudes, man. Yes, they got caught up. They got caught up in a situation, whether they were young, old, you know, black, white, brown. It doesn't matter at the end of the day, gente. What does matter in a menudo style, in a direct fashion, is that, yeah, they Bangladesh someone, man, but everyone deserves that, you know, merry-go-round. Let them go round and round. Let them live. You know, let them live. Let them breathe. You know, and I'm just proud of the fact that people went out there and petitioned, that voters, that everybody that's working into this is making something happen. It's showing that these guys are not forgot about. Okay, because when you forget about people and you leave them just to rot away in prison on death row and to sit there, man, you know, that's a sad thing. Every human should have the ability and the right to live and to breathe. You know, you only get one life. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. Yo, Eminem. You know, you get one shot. And these guys are finally going to get a second shot at life. And I think that's a great thing. You know, I've always been behind the raza first and foremost and prison reform. And I believe, honestly, that this is good for everybody involved. Whether it's Norteños, Sureños, and Bulldogs, oh my. Crips and Bloods and LK, oh my. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, Woods, everybody deserves that opportunity to shine a little bit. Deserves that opportunity to go out there and pay the restitution to the families. There's a lot of guys that have a lot of remorse for what they've done and they can't express it. Letters could only say so much. Visitas could only do so much. To go out there and action speaks louder than the words, to show, put some hustle behind that muscle, bang, bang, and to work and actually do something to help these families, maybe can bridge a gap, maybe can show that they're a different person, they're a changed man. And then there's going to be some that don't give a fuck. They're really not changed and they don't care. But guess what? It's their prerogative. They can do what they want to do. Orderly Bobby Brown, they can do whatever they want to do. You know, don't be crew. Just don't go out there in the yalla and get caught up because they'll throw your ass back in the shoe quick. And then you'll be worse off than death row. It's just what it is. But at the end of the day, from my perspective on it, from my take, I believe that it's a righteous thing. It's happening. Yes, the state of California is in flux right now. Everything is changing when it comes to prisons. Like I said, a lot of prisons are shutting down. A lot of prisons are getting integrated. You got SNY yards, 50-50 yards, general population yards becoming one. Of course, the gang political makeup is none of my business. We're not going to speak on that. However they deal with that, they deal with that. That's their business, and they can do what they want to do. You know what I mean? Period. But as far as what's happening, yes, the ball's rolling. There's a lot of things changing within the California Department of Corrections. Lockdowns are being lifted, lockdowns are being implemented. Individuals are being moved from one place to another based on notoriety. But people like Phantom Man are actually going to get reacclimated and actually get their chance to go out there and be with their bedros. And for that, bro, for that one individual right there that I've actually had the privilege of talking to, I'm happy for you, Otto. I know you're going to see this and I'm happy. And that's what it is. You know, at the end of the day, it's guys that, you know, get this bad rap because they're on MSNBC or they're on these channels, these ganglands and things, and people, oh, they're this or they're that, or their mentality, man. They really don't know the man behind them lenses. They don't really know the man and what's beating in his heart and what he's thinking, you know. A very lonely individual, man, when you're in there. Everybody is lonely. That's the one thing about prison, the common denominator is everybody is lonely. They might not say it, so let's get it. Might put the game face on and be ready. Order the Raiders, right? But at the same time, they're all lonely, you know? Just is what it is. Anyways, I hope that you go out there, that you move fast with a purpose. I hope that you get everything that you want coming to you. Yes, indeed, at the end of the day, it's all about raza, all about unity, and all about coming together for your own familia and for your people. Go out there, struggle and strive, man. Don't worry about all the negativity, man. If you throw pipas in the air, you're gonna get hit with one. So don't throw nothing in there, because what goes up must come down, man. You need to keep it pushing and stay forever forward in your strive. To all the gente, to all the raza, gracias. If you like this, please hit that like and subscribe. If you don't, thumbs down, man. Heavy as the head that wears the crown. You already know what it is, the gun, bang, bang, menudo style. Shout out to all the people that are on death row that deserve it, not you weirdos, and that are actually gonna get their chance at mainline, man. I feel for you, and I identify the gun, bang, bang.